50 episodes. I can't even believe it as I say it, but happy 50th episode of the It Starts With You podcast. I am recording this and truly just feeling like, how are we 50 episodes in? So thank you so much for joining, and this is a special episode, obviously, to be the 50th episode when we were looking at all the recent episodes we've done and mapping out future episodes. And wow, oh my gosh, we were coming up on the 50th. And I was like, yes, I want to record a special 50th episode. And just first of all, thank you for each and every one of you who is listening, who is consistently listening to my podcast. If you're somebody who's listening right now who has been listening from the beginning, thank you so much for being here. And if you're somebody who is new to my podcast and just joining us, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that we have so many things for you to catch up on and go listen to some of the amazing guests I've had on, and also stay along for the ride and where we're headed next year. So for this episode, I really just I wrote down a couple just like lessons and things that I have learned in recording 50 podcast episodes, and just lessons in general that I wanted to share with you and celebrate with you, but also hopefully you can take this away when you're thinking about doing something. And just wanted to really be open and honest about the journey and how it's been and where we're headed. So thank you so much. Buckle up. Let's talk. First of all, I just want to say, and if you have been listening for a while, you've heard me talk about this before, that having a podcast was something that I had written down for years. So again, if you've been listening, you know this. If you're new here, one of the things that I do as part of my morning routine, and I've been doing it for years, is I write down in the morning 5 things that I'm grateful for, and I write down 10 dreams as if they've already happened. I started this practice I think 2018 or 2019. I actually got introduced to it from Rachel Hollis. If you're familiar with Rachel Hollis, she had the Rise. She had a conference called Rise, and she had these journals, and her business has sort of evolved over the years. But that's how I originally found it, and I really like her journals. I still have them, the ones that were left, and that's really what got me started in this practice, is writing the things I'm grateful for and writing the things 10 dreams as if they've already happened. And it's just been something that stuck with me. It's evolved a little bit over the years, but it's a process that I really love. And so anytime that I have this really big, ambitious goal or dream of mine, I add it to a list, and then you have to narrow it down though. So at the start of every new year, I decide what are those things going to be. And then as I achieve them, I mark them off, I celebrate, I add another one, and you keep it to the 10 things. So I was writing that I have a podcast for about 2 years, and it just was part of the plan and part of the goals, and I knew it was going to happen at some point, but it had to be the right time. And then I had shared this big goal with my mom, and she had bought me my mic. I had told her what kind of mic that I wanted, and I got it as a Christmas present, which was so sweet. So she had bought me the mic that I use, and then it sat in my office for almost a year, maybe, before I officially said, like, okay, we're going to have a podcast. And so it was so exciting when I got to officially mark that off of my goals and say that I have a podcast. So this was such a long time in the making. And when I was really figuring out what I wanted the podcast to be about, and I came up with the title, It Starts You. I had a couple other titles in mind, and It Starts With You is just the perfect fit. Like, I can sit here today and tell you that I am so happy that I went with that, because every single time I talk about it and think about it, and I think about what I want to share with you, and when I bring guests on, all of this, we talk about all these different topics, really helping you to step into your full potential and to really achieve all the things you want. It all comes back to that theme of It Starts With You. And before I even ask people the last question of what does it mean to you, our conversation is already veered towards something around it having, you have to go first. You have to believe it first. You have to believe in yourself first. You have to go first. It has to start with you if you want to have the impact and the ripple effect into other people that I know you want to have. And so I just feel so aligned to that, and even more excited the more that we've kind of stepped into and owned this role. Because this thing, when you try something new, you have to step into this new version of you. And so I've had to step into this new part of, okay, I'm a podcaster. I have a podcast. I'm a host, and sort of figure out like, what does that mean for me? And it just feels more and more and more aligned the longer that I do it. So that's the first thing, is just to celebrate the history of where we've come. And so a couple lessons that I've learned that I want to share with you in 50 podcast episodes. The first, I'm actually jumping around on my list here, because the first one is I had to release perfectionism. And I have talked about this before. I've had to do this over the years. And when you become an entrepreneur, when you start running a business, like it cannot be perfect. None of us can be perfect. But I've realized even more so now that I had to release so much more of that, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I still don't know what I'm doing. Okay. If we're going to be honest here, we're friends. Like, I did not know what I was doing. I knew that I couldn't do it alone. And so thanks to my, podcast team who supported me through it and figuring out, what tools do I use and what systems do I use and how do I come up with a name and, all of these different things. Like, you just have to figure it out. And where do I want to have it? Do I want to have videos? Like, all of those different things. And I had to release the idea that it's going to be perfect, because it's just going to be messy. You just have to jump in. And so really the first thing was just like, if you have something on your heart that you want to do that you've never done before, don't expect to figure it all out, and just expect that it's going to be messy. So like, that's my first thing, is it's just going to be messy, and it's okay to be a beginner. Because I think for me, in my head, I had this, well, when people have a podcast, they have it figured out. They know exactly all the things, and it's like, that couldn't be further from the truth. You just have to rip the Band-Aid off and start the thing and just do the thing. So I'm kind of combining 2 points, because the lessons come from I'll say like the messy middle. That's what we'll call it. The lessons come from just doing it. Like, there's no way I could have prepared for and known like when do I want to release an episode, and what do I want to talk about, and when's going to be the best time to record, and all of that. And you don't figure that out until you do it. And I'm still navigating that, so in the beginning it was like, what days am I going to record? And do I want to have solo episodes? Do I want to have guests? And all of that can evolve and change, as long as at the core, I honor what the point of this podcast is. And for me, it is serving you and showing up for you authentic and real and honest, and a mix of motivating you and kicking you in the ass a little bit, along with giving you really tactical and tangible things to do, either through myself or when I bring guests on. Like, the core of my mission is to help you to realize what you are capable of. That's it. To help you realize what you are capable of, and give you the push and give you the tools to freaking do the thing. That's what's at the core of my mission. And so when I come back to that, I remember that all of the logistics and all of the details, they're going to ebb, they're going to evolve, when we record and how many episodes we record, all of that. But at the core, it's to help you realize what you're capable of. So that is another lesson for you. If you are someone who's looking to step into something that's uncomfortable for you, is when you can get really clear on the why. Like, why I'm doing this was a few things. It was to connect more with my community. I was feeling like, where is one central hub, since I support businesses and individuals and entrepreneurs and leaders, there's all these different platforms out there. And I was like, what is the one central place that I can bring people and connect with people? And for me, it was the podcast. It's like, ooh, this is the place that I can create my community, that people can come and get to know me, but also that they can learn and grow from me in this type of format. So that was a big reason. That was a big reason for the why. Another reason was for me to continue to expand who I was connecting with and who I had in my community beyond just platforms or speaking on stages. Like, where was that place that I can even expand and meet people where they're at, which a lot of times is listening to quick hit podcasts, which is why I keep a lot of my solo episodes brief, is so that I can give you like that quick hit. And then another reason, my why, was selfishly, I just love it. I thought I would love it, but who knows until you start doing it. And when I come on here and I record a solo episode for you and I can share with you, and when I bring guests on and get to know them and have them support you, I just love it. So those were my why. And when you come back to your why for why you're doing the thing, then it's going to help push you through and give you the momentum, even on the days where it's like hard and it's hard to show up and do that thing. If you come back to that, so those, for me, it was coming back to the why and being okay that it wasn't going to be perfect. It's okay to be a beginner, and that I just needed to do the thing. The next thing that kind of goes along with that too is just like, you're just going to figure it out as you go. Like if you are starting something new, whether it's a new project, you're getting into speaking, you're getting into workshops, you're getting into a next level of growth in your career, you're putting yourself out there, whatever that looks like for you, is you're not going to know it all right away. And you're not going to know what you like. You just have to figure it out as you go. And you're like, oop, that didn't work for me. Oh, that didn't work for me. And you're going to find the things that do figure it out. And then you have to be okay with pivoting and going like, oh, okay, I've got to try a different approach, and just being okay with that pivot. Let's see, other lessons that I have really learned is to just have fun with it. I think if you're like me, you can put so much pressure on yourself for it to be perfect, and so much pressure to constantly be having all of these, really innovative ideas, or am I bringing on the right people, or am I saying that the right way? And at the end of the day, like, it's supposed to also be fun. Like, this is a fun thing for me to do, to show up for you. And I want you to have fun when you listen. And if we're not having fun, then why are we doing it? This is a commitment. This is time for me to show up here. So if I wasn't having fun with it, then you really have to sit back and assess that. So I would challenge you to go, this thing that you say that you want, or this thing that you are going for, are you having fun with it? Because if you're just so focused on the end result, if I was just so focused on, I want to get my podcast to this amount of growth, or I want to monetize, or if I was so focused on that and it took away all of the fun, then by the time I got there, I might not have even want to do the podcast anymore. I have to have fun with it. And that's my reminder for myself, my reminder for you too, is I see this a lot of times with people. We get so focused on that end result, the end goal, that we don't even enjoy the process. We don't even look up to see the lessons that we're learning along the way, or to have fun with it. And then we get there and we're just like, what's next? And I know I got caught up in that a lot, where it was like, I have these goals, I have these goals. You have to remind yourself to like enjoy that part of the process where you're learning and you're growing, because you would never get to the goal if you hadn't gone through all of the stuff to get there. So have fun with it. Have fun. One of the other greatest lessons, and just one of the things I'm so grateful for, is the people that I get to talk to. When I get to do these interviews and I get to bring on these amazing guests, whether they're client highlights, so highlighting clients of mine, or they're just other people in my, community, my network, or they're people who I really, aspire to, and they have all of these amazing things that they can come on and share with you. I'm just so incredibly grateful for getting to know these people, for getting to, sit down, even though we're virtual, like sit down with them and dig into what got them to where they are, and what have they gone through, and what like tools and stories can they equip you with to help support you. And so I've just gotten to meet and get to know. And when you sit down and ask some of these questions around, what have you been through, and why have you pivoted, and what suggestions and tips do you have for other people, and what does it starts with you mean to you, you really get to know someone, what drives them. And so it's been so much fun getting to know that. There's going to be even more of that next year. Next year we're going to keep doing solo episodes. We're going to keep bringing on amazing guests. Little plug for making sure you go back and check out all the episodes, share them, and share with me. What do you love? Like, send me a message. I would love to hear, what do you love about the solo episodes? Any guests you would love to see me bring on? Please reach out to me. I'm so open to that feedback. So it's been so much fun getting to get to know more of those people and bring them on to support you. So those were some of the biggest lessons that I learned that hopefully you can take away as well when you want to do something, that you just remember to have fun with it, to release the pressure for it to be perfect, to dive in and just figure it out as you go, to be okay being a beginner, to be okay being in that messy middle where you're still trying to figure those things out, to be open to connections and people who can support you along the journey on that goal. I mean, if I didn't have a team of people helping me to do this, there's no way that I could do it. And for those of you who, share reviews and share the podcast, like that just helps to get the message out to more people. So remember to share that with people. Share your thing with people, share your excitement with people, and let them support you, let them cheer you on, let them challenge you, let them share it with their community, because that's how it grows. You don't have to do it all on your own. We're not really meant to do it all on our own. Oh, what else do I want to share with you? Just thank you. I think that's the last thing. Again, just thank you so much for those of you who listen, who are along on the journey, who are along as I figure it out, as I navigate it, and know that we have big things ahead for the It Starts With You podcast next year. We are not going anywhere. If anything, we are growing and expanding our mission. And there's going to be more of the solos, more amazing guests continuing to help support you to fully step into the version of yourself that you so badly want to be, the version that you feel calling to you. That's my people. You're my people who are listening here, who want the real, who want the raw, who want the authentic, but also who want the, hey, don't just motivate me, be like, give me the things, give me the tools so I can fully step into my leadership, to my growth, into my voice and my full confidence. So thank you. Happy 50th episode. Thank you for celebrating. Please share this out. Let people know that we are here and that we are here to support you in your journey. And I cannot wait for what is to come.